know I'm extremely inactive on this channel. I'm so sorry, but because of life's issues and me just having a lot going on, I just thought I'd come on here and just express what has been going on over these last few months, and just why I've been so inactive on here. First off, I want to say that this pandemic has been extremely overwhelming, and it has taken on a big toll on me and my family and everybody else. I've lost a relative from COVID-19, and it was definitely unexpected, and it was not good for me and my family at all. And even though it's been a year, I still am grieving over that, because that relative was very, very, very close to me, and it's just not, COVID is definitely not a good thing to deal with. It's not something to play around with, and it definitely should be something that should be taken serious. Sorry that I'm so, if I sound low, I'm completely sorry. It's just my throat has not been the best right now. I have developed a cough. It just started yesterday, and I think I caught that from my son, which is one of the reasons why I am making this video, to share my experience with my son. He just turned 1 a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately he is now struggling with COVID-19. I guess I should just go back to where his symptoms started. So his symptoms started about a week ago. He was perfectly fine, being his normal jumpy self, and was crawling around with all my other kids and was playing with our pet, and he was just, being his normal self. And then I noticed about 2 days later where he was kind of just laying around and not really being himself, and not eating, not drinking, and he felt a little warm, so I took his temperature, and that's when I automatically knew that something was wrong, because his temp was a little bit over 100, and anything that is over 100 in a baby, to me, is an automatic alarm. And because it's my son, I automatically just jump right into mommy mode, and okay, he needs to see a doctor. Another thing that triggered me is where I was giving him his bottles, and he would drink the bottle, and 10 seconds later, he would spit it all up. I tried to give him food, and he would spit all of that back up. So now I'm just automatically freaking out. So I take him to the emergency room at a different hospital, and they took his vitals, checked his oxygen and everything, and said that, everything is okay. But we're gonna test him for COVID-19. So they end up testing him, and about an hour later, they came back and said that his COVID test was positive. So that is one of the reasons for the lethargicness, and as the reason why he's not eating anything. So automatically, when a doctor comes in there and tells you that you're positive for anything negative, especially COVID, that automatically makes you feel overwhelmed. And because this is my baby boy and he already has enough health issues, that's a really, really alarming thing for me to have to deal with. So I asked him, what is it that I can do, and they told me nothing. It's really nothing I can do, because it's a viral illness, and he's going to feel lethargic, he's going to be sick, so you're just going to have to give him as much comfort as you possibly can, keep giving him fluids, and within a couple days, in about a week or so, he should be fine. The next day comes around, I try to give him his food again. I try to give him some breakfast, and he spit that up. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give him a minute, At this point, he's still like just laying around. He's not active, he's not talking, he's not moving, he's not doing too much of anything like he normally does. He's not playing with his sisters, he's not climbing all over the couch like he normally does. He's not doing anything at this point. So I just said, okay, I'm gonna put him back in his bed and I'm gonna let him rest for a minute. I wait a couple of hours and he's still lethargic. I try to give him some food and he spit it up. I try to give him his bottle and he spit that up. And then I try to give him some water and he spit it up. It's like everything that he put in his body he could not digest, because he would just spit it all back up in a matter of 20-30 seconds. At this point, I'm getting more and more concerned of dehydration, because he's not taking in anything. He keeps spitting everything back up. So I take his temperature, and his temperature is in the hundreds again. I give him a Tylenol. I give him some baby Tylenol just to see if that'll like kind of bring his fever down. And it did for the most part, but then it went right back up. And I told him, okay, I told my relatives actually, okay, this isn't normal behavior. I know they said it is pertaining to COVID, but something else is going on with him. So I immediately take him back to the emergency room, and they took some blood, they took a urine sample and everything, and they came back about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and told me that he was dehydrated. So at that point, they admitted him because he's so young and he's dehydrated, and on top of the fact that he has COVID, they definitely said that they need to do some more observation. His first 2 days in the hospital, he was just laying around. He wasn't drinking any formula. All of his formula, he would spit it all back up. And he didn't take any foods because he would throw all that back up too. So the doctors are saying that he should drink some Pedialyte, because the Pedialyte has electrolytes and everything in it. So maybe that can get his energy back up, is if we start giving him Pedialyte. So they only had the unflavored Pedialyte in the hospital. So I give him that. He does okay for the most part. By about day 3, he started throwing that back up again. So by day 4, they keep telling me because he has COVID, there's not really much we can do. So my thought is, then why are we still here? If we're not doing anything, why are we still here? I can take him home at this point. If nothing further is going to be done other than just keep pumping him with IV fluids. They told me if that's something that you want to do, then we more than likely will just send him home. We're going to do a physical observation on him first, just to make sure that there's nothing going on internally. So the doctor steps out for a minute, and then she comes back in. She listens to his stomach with her telescope, and she like presses on his stomach. She checks his head and everything, and makes sure everything isn't going on in his stomach, or his glands, or whatever that is. You know how doctors check your head and everything, make sure nothing's like wrong with you on the outside. So she said that his bowels are a little off because he is spitting everything up. So at this point, they said if you would like to take him home, if that will make you feel more comfortable, if you can take him home, then take him home. They tell me everything that I needed to do for him at home, and if he has another fever, or if he is still feeling lethargic, if he's not eating, if he's not drinking, if he's having diarrhea, if he's constantly vomiting, then to bring him back. So I brought him home on Monday, and as soon as I brought him home, as soon as I fed him, he ate his food, no vomiting. He's still lethargic, but he's not vomiting, he's able to keep his food down, and he's able to keep his liquid down. So I'm like, okay, that's good. He can, at least keep food and drinks down now, because before he couldn't do that. Me personally feel like the IV was the reason why he was throwing everything up, but that's my opinion. At this point, it's now a week since he's been diagnosed with COVID-19, and so far, even though he is eating and drinking, he's still not active. He's still not up and moving around and crawling and standing on stuff, and at least trying to walk and pulling up on the furniture like he normally does. And it's really it's really taking a toll on his little body, and he already has enough health issues as it is because he was premature. He wasn't that premature, but he was born like at least almost a month early. So my son already has enough health issues, and on top of him having COVID-19, it's just really, really overwhelming to me as his mom to have to watch him just be sick like this. And I just feel so helpless because it's not really much I could do about it. From the hospital for a couple of days now. I did take him back in yesterday, only because he was not feeling okay, and he had a rectal temperature at like 100.5, and he was still just kind of laying around and not doing anything, and that's just very, very alarming to me. But doctors say because of his oxygen levels being at a normal range, his heart is fine, and everything is okay with him internally as far as they know. They can't really do anything because he has a viral illness. There's not really much doctors can do about it. They just are basically telling everybody to just let it run its course, and in about a week or two, he'll be okay. I just personally want to know if anybody has COVID-19, if anybody has COVID-19 before, or if they have a relative that has had it or currently has it, or if they have any babies that have it. I don't really know too much about the virus, enough to know like what it does to babies. I haven't really heard anything bad happen to babies, but you never know, and that's what's bothering me the most, and that's what makes me really, really scared and nervous about this whole thing, because he's a baby and because his immune system is so weak. It's just scaring me, and to know that he's not active and he's not doing anything, that's just making me even more scared for him, because at the end of the day, like, this is my son, and I'm gonna be worried about him, and I'm gonna be concerned about him, especially when he's not active. Only him is the only one that is experiencing symptoms. I mean, I'm starting to feel symptoms. It's just a cough, really, only because I am around him, and I'm still hugging him and kissing him because he's my baby. I'm not gonna just stop loving on him because of that. I know you're supposed to keep social distancing, but because I'm his caretaker, I have to be around him. But it's kind of hard not to hug and kiss your baby, right? His sisters don't have any symptoms. His sisters are, still their normal selves. They're very active. My oldest daughter said that she wasn't feeling well a couple of days ago, but, after some food and a little bit of TLC, she bounced right back. And his other sister isn't having any issues either so far. Hopefully it stays that way. With a little bit more time, then he can be okay. I will definitely keep you guys updated on his condition, and I really, really just want everybody to keep my son in your thoughts and in your prayers as he is fighting with this really, really tough and just inexplainable illness. I know it's hard on everybody that has a relative that has either lost their relatives or a relative that is still amongst the living that is having some issues with this virus. It sucks for everybody, especially those who have underlying illnesses. I pray for your relative, and I pray that everybody in your family is alive and as well and overcomes this disease, because it's definitely bad on everyone. But thank you guys for watching. Like I said, just keep my baby in your thoughts and in your prayers. Send us all the love that you can ever offer, and I just pray that he gets better and he is gonna be okay within the next week or two, because it's really, really hard for me to have to see him like this. I hate it so much, and he's just a harmless little boy, and I'm just overwhelmed at this point. Yeah, but thank you guys for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will try to get back to another video as soon as I can.